I remember when I applied for my first credit card. This was a long time ago now, but I remember feeling a little lost and not really knowing where to start. In fact, I was completely against the idea of getting a credit card until my sister briefly explained to me that I needed to start building up my credit because one day I'm going to want to get a car, get my own apartment, or purchase my own home, and having a credit score is going to be very important. She told me that if I have no credit score, then it's going to be pretty difficult for me to be independent and that no credit is treated the same as bad credit. I thought that credit cards were bad because of the interest rates and thought they were just traps to steal money from you. However, my sister advised me to put one charge on the card per month and pay the balance in full, and I would never have a problem. That advice ultimately ended up being great. Don't tell her that I said that because that means that I actually listened. But the only thing I didn't know was how to get started. How do I get a credit card with no credit history? Where can you get a credit card with no credit? And who will give you a credit card with no credit? In fact, I didn't know that not having any credit history would put a limitation on the type of credit cards that I would be able to be approved for. And because of this, I went about applying for any and every credit card, hoping that someone would approve me. In today's video, I'm going to try to make it easier for you all so you don't make the mistake of applying for a credit card that you would not qualify for, which in turn can potentially make it a little more difficult for you to get approved. For those of you who already have your first credit card or you're currently applying, let me know in the comment section, what was the first card you applied for? Were you approved? And is that credit card account still open? I know that was 3 questions in one, but I believe you got this. Before we get into the video, if you find this information helpful, be sure to give this video a like to help with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this from me in the future. Without further delay, let's get into today's topic. This is going to be the most personal point that I share with you because it's reliant upon how honest you are with yourself. Opening a new credit card is a huge step and a very serious one. Before applying for any credit card, make sure that you are ready for the responsibility that comes along with becoming a credit card holder. If you're currently struggling with spending money as soon as you earn money on things you don't need, then maybe a credit card isn't right for you at this time. If you are struggling with paying your bills on time, for example, your phone or internet bill, then maybe you should focus on building up the discipline to make on-time payments prior to signing up for a credit card. All of this is important because the decisions that you make with your credit card are going to be reported on your credit history, and they will follow you for years and play a major role in a bank's decision to offer you a loan or mortgage in the future. So do a little soul searching and figure out if this is right for you at this moment or if you need to develop more discipline. Make sure that you understand all of the factors of what goes into determining your credit or FICO score. This is going to be extremely important. Once you understand the methodology used to determine your FICO score, you can develop the right mindset of recognizing that your credit card is a tool and a very important one that should be used responsibly and strategically. Once you realize this can potentially help you to develop a plan to have great credit card habits because you'll be more likely to want to do what you can to build a good credit score and protect that credit score. I wanted to cover this first because if you don't have the right mindset, I don't even want you to consider getting a credit card because being responsible is going to be extremely important to help you to have a successful credit card journey where you can squeeze out as much value as possible once you've established some good credit history. Now let's move on to the 3 remaining topics that I have for you all. The next thing you need to do is to research what's required to open a credit card. I'm going to share 2 main things with you. 1, by law, you are required to be at least 18 years old before you can open up a credit card account. To add on to this, since the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act of 2009, opening up an unsecured credit card before you turn 21 is going to be a difficult task. This was done to protect consumers from making a completely naive decision that could have some real potential financial repercussions that can take decades to correct. Next up, you'll need a social security number. This is important so that the credit card issuers can report your credit activity, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to the 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Finally, you want to research which credit cards you are most likely to be approved for. Since this is your first credit card, then it'll most likely be a student credit card or a secured credit card because they typically don't require you to show any credit history, so be sure to check out those type of credit cards. Some people will go after closed loop store credit cards, but I don't recommend them because over time, you may no longer be interested in shopping at that particular store, and if you aren't using the credit available to you, the issuer reserves the right to close your credit line, which wouldn't be good for your credit score in the long run. It's going to be very important for you to choose the right credit card. With no credit history, your options are going to be very limited, and there are companies out there that will prey on you because they know two things. One, you're more than likely naive to the credit card game, so you don't know what to expect and you don't know who or what to avoid. Two, you probably never received a credit card offer in the mail, so they'll send you offers in the mail, and once you experience rejection from applying for credit cards that you can't qualify for from other issuers at this time, you'll be more likely to go back to the offers received in the mail. Just a note here, I am not saying that all credit card offers in the mail are bad. All credit card issuers use this marketing strategy, so be sure to research them before applying for any of their products. Why do you want to avoid terrible companies? If you choose a bad company for your first credit card, it can potentially be a devastating choice. There are companies that charge multiple unnecessary fees for a credit building credit card. These fees can include an application fee, processing fee, annual fee, a monthly maintenance fee, which by the way is in addition to the annual fee, a credit limit increase fee, early payment fee, interest charges immediately from the date of the transaction, which in other words means no grace period to give you a chance to pay off that balance prior to being charged interest, and the list goes on. The problem with opening one of these credit cards is that you don't want to keep it long term because it costs too much money and offers absolutely no value. In fact, because of all of the fees and relatively low credit line, it can make it even more difficult for someone with low income or a tight budget to build a good credit score due to credit utilization, and that's before you even purchase anything that you actually want using the credit card. And if it takes you a long time to learn this before getting your second credit card, closing the account can potentially have a large negative impact on your credit score because the average age of your accounts is a factor in determining your credit score. It's commonly suggested to never close your oldest credit card account, so be sure to open up the right credit card. What should you do and where to get your first credit card with no credit? 1. Look for student credit cards or secured credit cards from banks or credit card issuers you know to be good companies. 2. Research every credit card issuer and every credit card before you submit an application. Learn everything you need to know about the credit card and make sure you're comfortable with keeping the credit card open forever. 3. Target credit cards with no annual fees or any other ridiculous fee like the fees I mentioned a little earlier on in this video. There's no need to pay bogus fees to hold a credit card. 4. Look for cards that offer some sort of cashback rewards. There are options out there like the Chase Freedom Student or Discover It's Secured card. 5. Make your selection and apply for the credit card that you feel that you'll be approved for and that you feel is the best credit card for your needs. Finally, let's talk about how to get approved for your first credit card. The most important thing is going to be proving that you can make credit card payments. At the end of the day, the credit card issuers are giving you access to their money, and they want to make sure that they are going to be able to get their money back from you without any issues. Yes, that means that you need to prove that you have some sort of income. When I applied for my Discover It credit card, I was making somewhere around $9 an hour, and they approved me for a $1,000 credit line. It's important to mention that I already had one student loan reported as paid in full on my credit history, so this could have influenced their decision to give me access to $1,000 instead of $500. Definitely avoid lying about your income. I recently read a Reddit post from someone who believes that he or she is blacklisted from Discover because they failed to prove their income when Discover requested it. Many years later, with a good credit history and a good salary, this individual reported that he or she was still denied from Discover due to this past incident. Don't put yourself into that situation. The second way is to make sure that you don't apply for too many credit cards at once. This can give the appearance that you're desperate for credit and that you're having trouble getting it, and also show that you aren't responsible, because a responsible person would have taken the time to do the research to see which credit cards would be appropriate for them. The easy way to avoid this is to apply for credit cards that you're most likely going to be able to qualify for, and I know that you will do that thanks to watching this video. So be sure to tap on that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And with that, guys, that is it. You made it to the end. I thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. And you know what happens when you make it to the end. You get a high five. But which camera will you get a high five from? We're gonna do straight on. Come and get your high five.